require aid.
From the fried spooky Halloween.
Since the ominous light has left, the marsh seems to have returned to normal. The insects have calmed down. The creak of crickets and call of frogs return. Gorgon, as you walk back to the carriage, you stumble over something in the water.
I investigate. What is
After
it?
closer inspection, rooting around in the water, you discover it is a partially devoured corpse submerged in the water.
Oh man.
Let's show it to the girl. Is that him?
After looking over the remains, you find that it does match the description of Morris, Abigail's suitor.
Gorgon is going to check him for belongings.
Gorgon.
It's like Like I have two jobs in this party, Carl. They're to sneak attack things when they're not ready, and to loot everything. I don't know if you looked at the party loot page, but it's 100% Gorgon.
Yeah, the one thing.
I'm just saying, it's still 100% Lamat. Do the math.
You
wanna recap?
find
Do a mat. There you go.
you
That's my new
find a
catchphrase.
dagger on him and a small pewter pin that must have fastened his cloak.
Gorgon
Wait.
pockets the dagger and brings the pin over to Abigail.
She is in shock as you show it to her, although resolved. This is his. You found him?
Gorgon says, I found him. If you wouldn't mind shielding your eyes, I will recover his body and we can take him somewhere for a proper burial. Unless you prefer the nature around him to decompose his body slowly over time and go the natural path. That is also understandable, he says, packing a pipe.
Behind her back, Les is making the throat cut, like, shut up sort of body motion.
I'm not very skilled in human burial rituals, but I assume face down in the muck is not appropriate.
Oh, I love Gorgon.
Says, oh, we should bury them. She's sort of tears are welling up in her eyes as she's obviously rather distraught. He's gone, man. I can't believe it. He shouldn't have gone into the swamp, she says.
Yes, that's true.
Do we have like a blanket or a sheet or a tarp or anything on the cart?
Within the cart, there's probably a blanket. I assume that you guys probably have like a bedroll or two as well, perhaps.
Well, Gorgon is the one who uses this good bedroll. He's very meticulous with cleaning.
Les is gonna walk away so he's not quite in earshot of Annabelle. He's like, let's just drape him over the horse.
So Gorgon takes the blanket and wraps the body up,
Okay.
and carries it over and puts it on the back of the cart.
Now we have to ride with it.
Albie is walking around fuming. First time I get me a chance to make some real gold, and I get hired by bloody mages. This is all I need. Now I can be hung and burned when someone lumps me in with you bunch, he says.
Oh, Christ. Anyone want to handle
Oh.
that?
Oh, also,
How hard is it to drive a cart?
I wasn't clear on what you guys did with Gilbert the ox thief. So why don't we
He's
resolve
still
that?
there. Yeah, sure.
I
No,
thought
we
we
let him
left
go.
him.
Well, and that's what I wasn't too sure about, because you guys had sort of said both and never really cemented. So, yeah, you guys can go ahead and decide now.
Well, we spared him. We got some info from him. Does anyone feel any need to keep him?
I mean, we can drop him somewhere.
We just leave him back at that inn or whatever. He can
I
go
think
that
that's what
way.
we did.
Yeah.
We left him before we went to pick up Abigail.
Yeah, okay,
Alright,
that's
so
fine.
that's where he was left.
Okay.
Okay.
Jesus.
Abigail mutters in a distant way. I thought my mind was playing tricks on me earlier. But you are mages. If you let me go, I won't tell anyone about you.
Things are not as quite as black and white as those in power will have you believe here. As you can see, we're not cutting a swath through the land, wreaking havoc. Quite the contrary, in my opinion.
I am sure she understands.
But does he understand, unless, like, eyes Gilbert?
You mean
Well,
Albie?
Well, he's not there.
He means Albie.
Albie,
Oh, right.
Albie,
Of course.
Well, if
Galby.
he does not want to be seen with some of us who have magical abilities, normally I would say he can leave. However, he is the owner of this cart.
Trindle looks to Abigail and Abby. Yes, I am a mage. You do not need to fear me or my companions, like they have said. We simply wanted to help you. But for you to strike out on your own now could be dangerous.
Gorgon says, no offense, Abigail, but you are an escaped witch. And as far as most of your townsfolk, the people you knew in the area you grew up with, that is what you are. Whether you are in reality, at least these mages can seem to defend themselves, he says, having a drag from his pipe. We here have treated you far better than the treatment you received back home. Why, it seems like only yesterday that we found you in a barn covered in your own feces.
She was
Go-
covered in her own
She frowns and says, "You know that was wrongfully accused."
I think we're focusing on convincing
Yes,
the wrong
but
person here.
you cannot go back now. Do you have anywhere else, family perhaps, where you would be safe?
She says, "No, I don't. My father died some years ago. He was my
Then-
last relative."
Then you will have to make a new life for yourself.
Sir Gamry suggests we can take her with us until we find a suitable place.
Thrindahl says, "I concur, Gamry.
Well, we can't leave her here.
I think it would be best if we tried to aid her in restarting her life."
And as for you, Albie, I'm very sorry that this discovery perturbs you, but I do assure you, you can see our good character, and if anyone were to discover us, you're merely a hired driver, nothing more.
It's not a question of character. It's a question of being a magical accomplice.
Well,
Hmm.
as far as I'm
If-
concerned, you don't even know our name. We've just hired you.
With a frown and furrowed brow,
I
Albie looks amongst the party. I don't like this one bit. Not
Wash-
one bit at all. He
Washing.
begins muttering.
I understand this man's concerns. I've heard that in these parts, even suspicions of magic, and we've seen it, can be quite devastating. Albie, would you be perhaps willing because I believe we need this card, if we purchased it from you? And I'm not saying that we can or will do it now, but would you be open to it?
Purchase my carriage? I don't know. This is my livelihood. Would have to be some price.
Hmm.
And these fine horses, I don't
Of
know
cour-
if I could sell them. I'll take you to your destination at least, and then I'll decide from there.
That is acceptable. I guess I look around to see if, of course, anybody has anything to add, and if
I think
nobody
it's
pops
most
up.
fair. That is all.
Gamry speaks up. I'm not a magical man either myself, but I find these folks rather decent. They're the only ones that seem to believe in me.
Les kind of furls his brow at Camry.
Thorindel holds a bleeding wound on his arm and says, "Can anybody give me any assistance?"
Okay, so we
sorry,
didn't end up
Thornhill.
going through our heals. Like, we just cut it last time, right? So I should still have 2 Cure Light Wounds to give out. And
Yeah, you don't think
I mean,
that...
did you heal at all during the fight?
not during the fight, no.
Yeah, I don't remember any healing happening.
So it was
From him.
it was only
I mean,
Anna
I'm
who
out.
healed.
Yeah, I healed Yang. That was it.
Okay, so Thrindle and Yang are lit, and Sir Gamry is also pretty hurt. So what do you think? 1 for Thrindle, 1 for Yang?
Sure.
Gorgon.
You're fine.
Gorgon's not.
All right. Well, roll yourselves a Cure Light Wounds each.
Okay. I guess we'll roll it. Oh, is it just a D8?
I think it's a +1. D8
Yeah, it's
plus
+1.
Do we add it if you're not overclocking?
Just
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Still
because it's
at
first
+1.
level.
Because that's minimum level of it.
Oh, okay. 4. I mean, now it's 6 HP,
Congratulations
boys.
to Benzel.
Yeah, full health. Woo. So, what does the party want to do? Because it's night now. We'll go back to the other map.
Well,
Maybe
we
go back
can't
to the
sleep.
road and yeah.
Can we sleep in the marsh? Yeah, we gotta follow the road, though.
Yeah, you can sleep in the marsh if you want.
Oh,
Keep
I
in
mean,
mind,
yeah.
you were
There was just a
attacked.
giant skull.
Yeah, that's
not
the
staying
thing.
in
I
this
don't want
marsh.
those fucking skulls.
Backtrack a bit and just crash in the forest.
Is that what you guys would like to do?
How much further is
completely-
it? Do you
I
know,
think it's a
Albie?
good idea.
At least another day's journey.
All right.
Probably 2.
Maybe we should backtrack a little bit. Yes, Billy.
So you all pack up into the cart and return along the road to the forest, taking a detour off of the trail for some distance so that you can't be seen from the road, and set up your camp for the night. Everybody sleeps a little bit disturbed as they can hear strange noises coming from the swamp during the night. The next day, you break camp and
Can
Have
I
breakfast?
roll an alchemy check to try and finish that drow venom I've been working on?
never. Yeah, you do what you want.
Did you want
Yeah,
my
charge on my
assistance
sword.
on that?
Carl, what's your alchemy score?
I don't know,
Probably
man.
pretty good. I think he's got a high end. Actually, I'm certain he's got a high end.
Benzel would know.
It's like 3 or 4 or something.
Yeah, I forgot to open the character sheet. I'm looking for it.
So you all set out.
Gamry strikes up a conversation with Albie, asking if he's ever had trouble with the road that goes through the marsh.
Albie says, "I haven't been on this stretch of road before."
Well, let us pray that nothing foul comes our way again.
I hope so. I've never seen anything like that.
Well, I will say, Sir Gamry, it does feel good to have your sword on our side. I've seen what it can do in lots of different ways, but I feel a lot better that you're here fighting with us. Even though I give you a pretty hard time.
Yeah, been a confusing couple of days, but you saved my life, you bunch.
The next time someone passes out, please don't slaughter them.
Okay, so they were there, so that's... Here, you were at... So that's 60. So you will get all the way to here.
Carl, roll a d20 plus 6.
Okay.
So you travel for an entire day, and it passes by without too much event.